he wants to. Sure, it's going to be freeform for Huskar, but I think if they did DK mid, DK can't do that, right? And that'll be even rougher for them. So they'll just have to find rotations, as we talked about before, to kill this Huskar early on.
I feel like we're in a similar formula as game one. I think BetBoom team just needed to get past like the first 15-20 minutes. You have Tinker, you have PA. I think your late game's pretty secure. Once Kunkka gets like 1 or 2 aura items, it's going to be incredibly difficult to actually bring down targets with limited damage from like Bristleback and the DK heroes. So when I see this Huskar come out, I think his job was the lane, and the rest of the game will be taken care of for them. He also gives them an earlier Roshan. I'm leaning towards BetBoom this time. I doubted them a bit too much in game one.
Yeah, I do think this is very similar to game one, where GPK has a good matchup mid. He's probably going to force Quinn out, and it's going to be a lot down to the rotations from the supports and eventually from Skitter with Blink Dagger, because they have a very nice, like, well-rounded lineup with this physical damage between the Bristol and the Dragonite. Like, their heroes make sense together, but are they going to be able to get to that point without being crushed by BetBoom? And BetBoom is a team that crushes you. So unlike last game, I will go with BetBoom this time because I think I made a mistake. I didn't realize how big of a difference this matchup would be, so I'm going to go BetBoom.
Fair enough. I do want to know, Shadow Demon Mirana, as we see the odds come out on screen. Shadow Demon Mirana, we said there's a lot of pressure on them to set a tempo for Falcons, or at least bring some aggression. Fear, can they do it? Can they make this happen?
They can't. They just have to play very fast.
They just have to play very fast. Well, I think that is news, because previously we did have the first 10 minutes almost without a kill, so maybe this time we'll have a little bit more of an action-packed game. But let's find out what's gonna happen. Let's head over to game number 2.
Thank you very much, Sheever. Yes, game 2 here of BetBoom versus Falcons. They're bringing Huskar to the Huskar Masters. We'll see if they can do it, but Falcons, I mean, another potential rough situation here in the draft. Zach, can they just ignore the Huskar for the first 10 minutes of this game? Maybe they play around some timings. What do you think we're going to see here?
I think we're going to see an attempt at first blooding that Huskar to get Quinn a better start. So they've already smoked up there in their base. If you can't have a good start, you do just have to ignore him to a certain degree. You have to bring enough heroes to actually kill him, and then it's doable because you play at so low health. You don't have a ton of items, but that is much easier said than done.
Yeah, they're actually looking for the Phantom Assassin, but there's a decent ward that will scout out the Beastmaster here, and now BetBoom will smoke themselves. They will see the rest of Falcons kind of rotating back towards the mid lane, so I think they know exactly what is going on here.
Just to be clear, if I
think the support duo, again, not to keep repeating that point, but we got the Shadow Demon and the Mirana, a classic combo, but the Shadow Demon has so much potential this game. You got the ultimate to remove the Tinker defense matrix, you have the save on disruption. I think you really want Crit to have a good game here. It's going to start with just stacks. I don't think this is the strongest lane.
Disruption here in the bottom side, just to allow Amar to grab the rune and walk away. So a little bit of an even start this time around. Now, I will have to say, Amar's Bristleback set is hideous, but he does this intentionally, and it's so annoying.
Hideous hero. What can he do?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's on one of his all-time favorites, as he just alluded to in the all chat, having a little bit of fun here with BetBoom. But this is ultimate comfort here for Amar.
Yeah, and he's going to have a lot of stacks to work with. I mean, we saw how many Falcons had last game for the Alchemist. Sure, you can do the same thing for a Bristleback, a Beastmaster as well. He might need it versus the Huskar.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Shadow Demon, historically one of the better stacking heroes. Needs to get to, level 2 to have the Shadow Poison to do so. And ooh, that's actually going to be the Courier dead here. This bottom lane is really strong from the side of BetBoom. So not surprised to see Crit starting to drag the creep waves a little bit here. Maybe dodge out as much as they can.
Tinker is a surprisingly fast hero, though, I gotta say. I mean, Crit has Windlace, and he's still slower than Tinker. He's carrying a giant machine on his back. How does that even make sense?
He never skips leg day, I would imagine.
I guess so.
Staking on his very comfortable Mirana. This has been a hero he has favored for quite some time.
Actually made it.
Yeah.
I feel like he is the Mirana guy.
But I mean, there's not many other people that play Mirana 5. And if they did, they copied snaking for it, right? Like, this guy is known for it. And then here is the scary mid lane. GPK here on the Huskar versus Quinn's Beastmaster. Now, Quinn, he has a lot of experience playing this hero, so obviously we'll see how he salvages this matchup, as topside save getting very low, but does have a salve, will be fine. Get right back into fighting shape.
Beastmaster doing okay so far. You do have the boars, so as long as you have the micro, you can start stacking for yourself relatively early. For now, I think he's okay. The axes allow him to keep his distance in the mid lane without being bullied too hard, but in a few more levels, that's where you often see Huskars just kick you out. Like, if you stay here, you will die. Yeah, you have to get as much as you can right now.
Yeah, and the panel is right. Like, this is a hero that can fall back to farming the jungle. Like, absolutely, you know, if he is feeling the pressure from the Huskar. And Huskar doesn't like to just be left in a dead lane. Like, he wants to be killing and putting pressure and slowing down his opponents. So it's a little bit of a... Oh, look at the micro from Quinn, actually dragging the wave here with his own boar just to dodge out GPK. Now, they will lose the range creep, but, I mean, exactly what you need to do.
Try to just get it with the axes.
That's a good attempt. I mean, this is exactly the type of stuff that you can, you know, do to try and salvage this matchup. But bottom lane, Amar falling very low. Blood Grenade is out. Even the laser committed as well. They are so close with a dagger. He has just accepted fate. Pure will grab first blood here on the Phantom Assassin.
3 times faster than the last game, which means we're ramping up to a much more fight-heavy game, perhaps.
Let's hope so. At least there's no Alchemist this time. In the top side here, Miro on this Kunkka, I feel like a pretty sturdy laner. He's really kind of, like, as a hero, we've seen Kunkka become a lot more dominant in the series that we've seen. So nice to see him kind of return to the meta.
I'm excited to see Shadow Demon again. He did get a series of nerfs in 7.38. It's just like across the board, you know, like 1 second off of his ultimate, his shard, damage on the early Shadow Poisons don't do as much. But it is, on paper, such a good Shadow Demon game.
Yeah, and that's something they highlighted, right? Like the ultimate against both of these supports is incredibly strong, and Katomi does have a huge wand charge there, so we'll be able to regen quite a bit. There's 4 poison stacks. There's number 5, baby. Crit will pop that Tinker.
Off to a good start. I've seen Crit have a very good game in the past because they liked picking it so much. One, it was good. But 2, they like the Mirana support so much, and that combo is so strong, the disruption into Arrow. This game, well, Falcons in general, they love their tanky cores. So Disseminate is actually really good because you're just splitting so much damage amongst the enemy team. It's like a blade mail for free when they only pick strength cores.
Oh, we've seen this one before. Amar dead to another dagger here. And Skatomi rejoins the lane. And I mean, this is seemingly the most action-packed lane at the moment. Not surprising, right?
Yeah, it is. I feel like a lot of damage needs to come from Amar. He often plays like a carry, and that's the style that Bristleback with Seeing Red goes for. But the counter matchup into the PA can be tricky because she does get a break pretty easily. It does percent HP damage. You can eventually not care because you get like a Sange and Yasha, you have status resistance, so you reduce the break. But if Pure has too good of a start because he keeps getting kills, then maybe you don't make it to that point, and maybe he just keeps deleting you. And that feels like what happened last game. It was a little bit slow to start, but eventually he just didn't have the damage on Falcons.
Oh, they're trying to find some kills around the map. Mid lane, GPK in some trouble. They bring the numbers on Falcons, but it's not going to be enough to get away. Nicely done, punishing this Huskar. And this is how you have to handle this, right? You just leave the Huskar alone on the Beastmaster, go do your own thing, and then just bring the rest of your heroes in. You know, that'll work.
Yeah, you have to try to punish it to save the lane. And I mean, look at his CS on Quinn. It was a smart decision to bring him here. This is not that bad. I know Huskar has a lot of denies, but usually we see the mid hero kind of where that Shadow Demon is. You know, you have like 10 last hits at like 6 minutes into the game, and it's brutal.
He's up in net worth. You can't ask for a better start here against the Huskar. And now it's kind of, the pressure's on GPK to try and get something done with this hero, right? This is a last pick Huskar. You need to build momentum out of this hero. And, well, that's a lot of stacks. Most likely going to the Kunkka, though.
Imagine so. There's not as many stacks from Falcons this time. Amar, though, might be falling here.
He is really struggling in this bottom lane. The Tinker and this Phantom Assassin doing so much work. That's a 3rd death for him.
Orb of Corrosion is such a strong item for Phantom Assassin. You can just poke with it on the dagger to get more value out of that, but when you do commit, it helps her do so much extra damage.
Great combos in the top lane here from these two. I mean, that's the thing, right? PA, sometimes you skip the orb of corrosion if you're not in a great lane, if you can't really fight the enemy offlaner, and you just rush your Battle Fury. But clearly against Amar's Bristleback, they're feeling way better about actually being able to kill him in this lane stage. So picking up those early items makes a huge difference, and now we're going to see a big wraparound topside Pure in through the Twin Gate. There's the Fear out from the Ringmaster, and Skitter on the run. The X, the pullback, though, you are not escaping. Another big kill here for BetBoom as they're going to try and TP in on Snake King. He arrows, he misses the catapult into a perfectly placed torrent from Miro, and they will get another kill. Now that is a reasonable tip from Miro on that one.
He was willing to die there if you can at least kill the catapult, because I think that does keep your tower alive.
Oh no, don't show it again.
Close your eyes, everybody. Don't look.
It hurts. I mean, he knew he had to try and make it as quick as possible, but yeah, that just slightly off the mark.
Catapult. I mean, it stepped at the last second.
It put its movement shoes on for sure. Just drifted right around it.
And it's scary when you see a Phantom Assassin at the top of the net worth 4,400. I feel like that was what Alchemist was last game, and that's an Alchemist. This is the PA who just has 3 kills, 2 assists, and helped take down a tower.
Bold of you to assume the Alchemist even had that much net worth last game.
That's true. I don't remember. I don't have a memory.
Oh, of course. Never mind. I thought these stacks would be for the Kunkka, but Tinker. This is going to be mostly Katomi and Tinker cleaning these up. A lot of the gold and XP to boost these heroes here in the net worth.
You know, Defense Matrix is going to be countered by the Shadow Demon's ultimate. So is Escape Act, actually. So 2 saves, technically taken out. But if your Tinker is just really rich and just brings a bunch of heals, and you can get auras that aren't dispelled by the Purge, that's kind of a way to work around it. You know, you're healing everyone on your team, and Shadow Demon can only target one hero, at least until way later in the game.
I've been seeing some supports. I think it's particularly been like 9 class that we've seen play a little bit more of aggressive Tinker, going for like an early Aghanim Shard and then eventually the Aghanim Scepter with a Blink. And he's playing it as just a legitimate core from the support position. So maybe because of, you know, the counter from the Shadow Demon, you kind of consider that as an option this game. But now Falcons definitely a little bit on the back foot, trying to get towards their first set of items. Everywhere you look on the map, there are so many stacks being made. Tell me now, higher level than his own carry.
Good. PA players, man.
That's true. I'm kind of sick of the Phantom Assassin. This is one of those heroes that if you're a support, you kind of have dealt with it for quite a while now.
Great coming to scout out stacks. Unfortunately, he's going to see most of them are down, and in fact, he is dead here.
He's the one scouted instead. Very nice rune here. Plays going for the disruption, the TP. They don't have the damage. Okay. He makes it out. And people know about a ward now. He's very aware that there's something there.
They actually think he warded, but he was actually just there. He was like, no, I'm in the wrong place.
For the side of Falcons, like, we know that like there's this Huskar mid. You're not actually super terrified of the moment. He's kind of just at a middle ground in terms of the net worth, but you have this Beastmaster in the mid lane. I feel like we're going to be seeing him try to get aggressive early.
Yeah, we got kind of distracted by the Phantom Assassin, but the Huskar has not popped off in the way we were expecting. I think the Beastmaster mid plus that heavy rotation really paid off for Falcons. I don't think you count him out quite yet. Huskars are not the same as in the past. You would get Armlet and just win. You know, you go Rogue, go take all the towers. It's actually slower now. You usually finish at least 1 more item, if not 2, and then you start to ramp up and play off of that kind of 3 to 4 item timing. So I don't want to say, you know, he completely missed the window, but you're not usually at the bottom 6 on net worth at this point in the game. Maybe you can't Huskar the Huskar Masters.
I'm telling you, man, these guys know this hero in and out. But so far, I mean, if you're BetBoom, I don't think you're upset with how the game is going. Your Tinker is getting a lot out of the map. That being said, Shadow Demon, because of the amount of stacks he's been able to make as well, is not too far behind either. Hero, top side, maybe thinking about trying to find him here on the Kunkka, but he is really fast with those phase boots. We'll see, though. Crit trying to close the gap, gets the vision. Disruption just barely out of range.
See him raising his hand, starting to disrupt.
Yeah, Snake King might try and cut him off here. Yeah, there's just no one else coming anytime soon. He knows someone's on top of him. He's like, oh yeah, there was the Lotus.
Or you get the Lotus for your efforts. But that was the Mirana ult. And similar to last game, we saw Falcons try to make plays and just not be able to connect on them. That's one of your first attempts with the invis, and you don't even find the offlane Kunkka, who is practically at the tier 2.
It's a big cooldown, man. 2 minutes without it, so they're gonna just smoke up instead and try and find another objective. This time, BetBoom actually grouped up towards the mid lane. Power Rune's gonna spawn bottom. Quinn, no real way to contest this with the Huskar walking up, so he will have to give up that arcane. Lines are being drawn. They kind of have an idea of where they are. They see the Ringmaster, I believe. Yep, on the Watcher. Any kill is worth it. There's the blink reveal from Skitter into the arrow, and finally, a little bit more action here coming out from Falcons. They grab themselves a very worthwhile kill, and this is something that we love to see with Mirana, right? Anytime you have this hero, you need someone to set it up, and Skitter going for the early blink dagger, I think, will help them build this momentum.
Shadow Demon's a great combo, but you don't want only one combo. So like you said, Dragon Knight will be good. The Roar is also a nice setup. So if any of those heroes are missing, any combination, that could be a kill. But you can't, you know, it's, oh, one hero is missing, we have to all sit in our base. That's really annoying. But if it is just one hero, like Shadow Demon, you can set it up. As soon as Shadow Demon's missing, then you can be careful.
All right. I feel like we're in a very similar position as last game. Both teams just kind of content farming it up. Only 5-3. We had first blood at 3 minutes, but after that, it's been a very patient game from both teams.
It's not as extreme as last game, but I would still favor BetBoom's lineup. The later it goes, I know Huskar is not usually someone who scales really far in, but I think PA has a lot of good matchups here, and this is a Tinker support who essentially becomes Tinker core the longer the game goes.
Very fast Battle Fury, and like that's the average, which some games you don't even see the Orb of Corrosion being built, so if you factor that in, this is a very fast Battle Fury with these other items. Which bottom lane, GPK, he's actually gonna go ahead and just pop the ult here, get on top of Amar, but he's very tanky, has that Blade Mail available, reflecting tons of damage back the other way, but crit found on the side. Falcons will lose one as they now look to maybe pressure the tier 1 tower here.
They were hoping to get a couple more kills so they could steal the Wisdom Rune. They're not going to be able to do that, but they will get themselves the tower. Maybe a little faster than expected. I don't know if they want to stick around here for the Tormentor and have to wait for a minute. Oh, Pure doesn't want to.
Pure's like, I got farm elsewhere on the map. I don't know about you guys. I mean, to be fair, you could probably take Tormentor with Huskar +2. So if they decide to stick around, they might be able to get it. But then Falcons can contest, and it gets a little bit scary. We'll see what they end up doing with it, but
it is a nice thing about the Tinker, right? You didn't all have to sit there as 4. They actually bring the PA out, Tinker goes mid, he's gonna go back bottom. He's gonna help with that Tormentor, so it's actually not as inefficient as I thought.
they are looking for a rotation here. They're looking for Pure. There's the Roar, but he's got a Defense Matrix absorbing some of the damage, but there's the Dispel from Crit. They just are too afraid to commit. The TPs are coming in, and now Quinn in trouble. Feelered into the Wheel of Wonder. Disruption from Crit again. Very nicely done, but can Quinn actually get out of here? Just surrounded by the side of BetBoom. Another big kill and another big casualty for the side of Falcons.
Fast moves from BetBoom. Last game we expected it with the Keeper of the Light. This time, just being quick on the map. As soon as you see them coming in, you're reacting in time. And it's very fortunate Tinker was... see Roshan toss some heroes. Very fortunate Tinker was right behind the PA, give him a jump target. Otherwise, maybe you at least get the PA kill and then maybe lose the Beastmaster.
I mean, we're starting to see this Phantom Assassin become a serious issue, but it's the Tinker as well, right? Like the Holy Locket doing so much healing already. Bottom lane, Amar will get found here by this ward. X into the Torrent. In comes GPK, the rest of the team as well. There's the Blade Mail. No return. A lot of the arrow actually catching the Huskar, but there's just not enough damage, just walking it off, and now, well, taking. That doesn't even get to finish the TP. Few more kills for the side of BetBoom. And now Tormentor, easy pickings here for them.
Having some deja vu there. I think that's the 5th time that's happened. Once he got out with Disseminate Blade Mail, but the other 4 times it's been a successful kill. Now they'll get the Tormentor. Finally, a meaningful gold lead for BetBoom at 4K. I gotta say, impressive on Falcons. They've kind of been down on kills, but mostly keeping up in farm. Now is the start of the struggle.
I mean, look at Tinker's net worth, man. He's neck and neck with all of the cores. They do get Roche, so this is a pretty common trade, right? When you have something like a Beastmaster, so very heads-up rotation from Falcons. Salvaging something in kind of a rough situation here. The Aegis will protect Quinn for, you know, a few minutes here. It could turn a fight. Like, that's the thing, right? One big fight is really all Falcons need to kind of, like, pull this gold lead back to even.
It allows you to play a lot more aggressively once you have that Aegis. And I think you really gotta find something going your way. They have not made very many successful moves in this series, not even just this game.
Yeah, Blink Dagger actually picked up here from Crit, so the support's also looking to play aggressive as well. Quinn sitting on the high ground here, will walk right into a ward, but they have not scouted anybody else. Miro, they will. They'll see the Kunkka now and back away.
I don't think you need to engage if you can just avoid this Aegis timing. You're farming up. You're happy with your Phantom Assassin getting space.
All right, this is a big ult in from the Mirana. There's the roar out from Quinn. He's going to try and find the kill here. The arrow connects. Do they have the damage to finish the job? GPK is down. Now looking for Katomi. There's the blink. The Dragon Tail. A nice Wheel of Wonder. Escape back to bail him out. But Amar ready to close the gap onto the backside. And there they do. Chasing for more, 2 dead, but that will do it for now. The arrow, not gonna connect, but a good find here from the side of Falcons.
Great roar, finally finding something for themselves. Maybe even gonna be able to convert it to more.
He's in pretty deep, but they've got the purge from Crit and Miro. Not tanky enough, another kill. Falcons turning it up with this Aegis, feeling the power of this Tricore.
Instantly 4,000 gold gain for Falcons there. I thought they were about to start slowly falling behind, but
it seems we have found our NA team here at
they are our NA team.
All right. Showing some signs of life, thankfully, because it was looking a little rough after game 1, but Falcons showing that they are definitely not out of this one quite yet. Score 6-9, very nice.
You can never count Falcons out. They play to the end. They are a very good team at trying to orchestrate fights that will go their way. It's not always easy, and we see BetBoom is doing a great job avoiding a lot of them, but like you said, Falcons not gonna go quietly.
With this, like, you still have 2.5 minutes left on this Aegis. I think that's the big thing. You've actually recovered 5,000 gold advantage during this timing already, and there is still a lot more that you can accomplish. The BKB going to be done for Quinn here in, you know, relatively soon, actually, under 1,000 gold.
You can finish it before the amplified damage is automatically used in the bottle. I mean, you'd be really strong around that.
I feel like he might have been able to, but they just gave all those stacks to Amar, so it's hard to tell. But this is where the Huskar starts to feel a little bit underwhelming, right? Where at this situation, he's still pretty far behind on net worth, but he doesn't, it's similar to the Alchemist of last game, right? So we'll see what he can do. Top lane Skitter, as well as the rest of Falcons, they're looking for something, might just settle for a very quick tower kill.
Towers fall so quickly. You've got the Corrosive Dragon hitting some negative armor.
Ooh. Save with the whoopee cushion, trying to make some distance, but he's got Crit right behind him. There's a demonic purge. No escape back for you and Amar. A very easy kill for the Bristleback.
Getting some revenge finally in the lane.
Right. There was some animosity after last game in that kill.
Credit to the stacks being made, though. Despite the 4 deaths on that Bristleback, his net worth, he's still 3rd. He's had so much space, so much farm given over to him. I think it's necessary. They often play this way around Amar. He is this carry off-lane player.
I like that he's going for an early shard as well. Like, playing around the double goo stack is very strong. Mid lane, Quinn. He's got the Aegis, he's got his supports behind him. They've got the Warp Flare to try and root him in place. Arrow's gonna be dodged from Pure. They will get the first life out of this Aegis. We'll see if they can actually bring him down a second time. There's the Wheel of Wonder. Crit has the save, surely. No, he gets caught in on the backside. There's no save, and now looking for more. The blink out will be able to get Crit for the moment, but Amar in some trouble. A second fear. And just like that, a Warp Flare pulls him back in. 2 deaths, and now potentially more as GPK claims another.
That tip to save is very well deserved. That is such a good Wheel of Wonder placement. I think a lot of players would just drop it a little bit in front of where that Aegis spawn is, but he knows Shadow Demon wants to save, so he places it beyond the Aegis respawn and fears him into it, and that is what catches the backline as they try to help him right there. So like you mentioned, Crit wanted to go in for that save, and instead they both get caught and they both follow up the combo. He's got to save himself, but it doesn't really last for long. Even though he gets the blink out for a little bit, GPK eventually runs him down.
Yeah, that is why people are very afraid to give this guy the Ringmaster. There's so many like kind of specific little interactions that you can account for, but that is just absolute perfect placement. You could not have asked for a better situation there.
Save is so good at all these technical heroes where the placement of your abilities matters a lot. That's why he's played so much Muerta, Keeper of the Light, the Ringmaster here. You can always trust him to land the spells.
Making no TP for about 20 seconds. I mean, not sure if they're aware, but he is just going to hide in the trees, kind of wait this one out. He'll be fine, I'm sure. No one else can really, no one really cares to come find him at this point.
He's appreciating, he's inside, but he wants to appreciate North Carolina.
I was like, he's role-playing in
beautiful
Raleigh.
weather,
Yeah.
beautiful trees, like I'll be in the trees here. They even look like pine trees to some degree.
It's true. I don't have acorns, you know, hoodwink not good enough.
Get the pine cones.
Yeah, we do have pine cones, that's close. Smoke up here from BetBoom, gonna look for their next target. Now, Quinn does have his BKB this time around. Pure has one of his own. Dude, but he is so farmed. Crit, this would be a great start. They're gonna be able to try and get the disruption save, but that is a lot of damage real fast. Pure quickly slicing down Crit. As Quinn, at least invis for the moment, trying to hide right now as he makes his way across the river. And it's gonna work.
As soon as you lose the Shadow Demon, you don't want to fight. I think Crit is essential to any successful team fight. You need so much from him. The Disseminate to get extra damage in. You need the Demonic Purge to remove the saves. The Disruption to break up BetBoom's combos. If he's out of the picture, you just have to back out. Unless you walk right into the high ground.
That's a big arrow connect, but Pierre's got the BKB. He's going to turn around looking for Snake King. He gets the leap away for now. Amar slowed up by the wheel as well, but just pulled right back in. Now Katomi has to get away from this Dragon Knight. Escape back will buy him a little bit of time. Do they have the catch? He's going to try and TP out. He's going to make it. BetBoom escape completely.
See, you know, the Phantom Assassin usually would die in those kind of situations, but she does have the Sange and Yasha, so it's reducing any of the stuns thanks to that status resistance. Gives her enough time to BKB and jump on out of there.
Oh, they might have found some more heroes. Miro, a nice find. They got to kill save first. There's the Dragon Tail. The Goo's gonna be able to spread to the other side. Demonic Purge on the money. Can they stop the TP out? Yes. Disruption is there. Katomi coming in to try and help. Can Miro survive the Blade Mail? Buy him a lot of time here, but the Disseminate damage, it's overwhelming. And now the Tinker, he's helped a little bit too much, trying to make his way back into the base. Another Dragon Tail is out. Quinn comes in with the axes, chops them down. 3 dead as Falcons find another opening here in this game.
Most of this series, BetBoom has been really good about dodging Falcons' play, but that time they scattered. I think they thought, you know, this is just time to farm. Well, Falcons use some of their abilities, maybe they're going to farm too, but they were wrong. Falcons just run in, find 3 kills, find a bottom tower. If they're lucky, Roche spawns soon, and maybe they even get Roche off of this.
And that is a big objective for them once again. We saw what they accomplished with the first Roche on Aegis. Second would give them the banner as well. A little bit more map to play around, but you've got to deal with Pure soon. And this is where things are going to get difficult. It's level 18, on his way towards a Basher. He did pick up the Shard, so we do have the break available here for the Bristleback. So Phantom Knives, a great option here.
I love the build Amar's going to this game.
Yeah.
In the past, especially if you wanted to be this more carry type of Bristle, we would see the Ags rush. But he knows how he wants to address the Phantom Assassin as the counter pick. So he's got the Sange and Yasha for the status resistance. He's buying a lot of extra armor in the Blade Mail and the Lotus. And eventually, I'm sure he'll go back for the Ags to deal with Escape Act and to just do damage in general. But this way, he has a consistent game from early to mid to late game. Crit gonna foul here, fast blink out.
Very quick reactions.
Scary in the night.
I mean, that was the smoke ink. That just doesn't connect onto anything. Now, Quinn is pretty far on the other side of the map, cutting the wave. Question is if they want to make that trek across the river to find him. Now they'll get the D ward, and that should be the end of that smoke.
Is the Lotus finished up as well on Amar?
I think so. It's close at least. I mean, 100 gold away from Lotus, right? So he's sending the courier over to the secret shop. He should be able to pick that up. Pure doesn't see the courier.
Quite see it. Where is it going? It's on an adventure. Did he manually get to the secret shop? That's crazy.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This game, I feel like, is... I mean, luckily it's a lot closer than last game. We haven't really seen much out of the Huskar, but you can still see like BetBoom's strength complements it well. So they're going to be the ones trying to pressure the Roshan. Now the smoke does come in from Falcons right away. They've got to contest this. Now, can you find save at the beginning? That would be a great target. Miro getting it all scouted out here from the boar. Amar wants to run in, but this Roche is falling and fast. They got it into the hands of GPK. Skitr goes in, does find the Ringmaster, but the rest of BetBoom will force him away. Pulled back from the X. Quinn will pop the BKB, try to do what he can here onto the Phantom Assassin, but they just don't have the damage. Pure still surviving, perfect and healthy, and now on the backside of the fight, it's going to be GPK on the Huskar. He committed a little bit too far. Aegis is down. But BetBoom still looks like they want to fight. Great arrow, though, from Snake King. Might slow down this chase. You trade Aegis for the Shadow Demon. I mean, taking it away from Falcons, I think, is probably the big win, though.
That's true. You definitely wanted to hold on to the Aegis a little longer than that, but I mean, not every fight's going to go perfectly. These are messy fights, both teams looking to deal with the saves, find the right targets. Like we see Phantom Assassin there. I think she got roared, but they don't have Bristleback nearby, so they didn't have enough damage to actually kill her.
Uh-oh, Skitr gonna get found here by the whole side of BetBoom as there they go. Pulls him right back in with the X, and that will be 65 seconds without your Dragon Knight. You can tell me he's still hunting, looking for others. Ooh, no war player. The King will make it out.
Look at the pine cones.
And that will be level 20 for Pure as he takes the Wisdom Shrine. That's a big talent.
Feel like if GPK had a better game, I think they were planning to play around him a little bit more, but based off the start he had, based on how Phantom Assassin had such a good start, they've pivoted over, you know, let Pure farm up. He will carry us as he has many times in the past. They trust this guy, and he's going to trust them to save him as necessary with the Escape Act, all the items being built by this very farm Tinker. He's doing his best to catch up to Kunkka and Huskar quickly.
This Basher is going to do so much work. I mean, you have very tanky cores on the side of Falcons, but PA wins these like 1v1 fights if she doesn't get kited out. And now she can really just lock them down with that bonus attack speed from that 20 talent. As we're going to see an Aghanim Scepter for Kunkka. Not something we actually see that often. We've been seeing a lot of Blade Mail Radiance, stuff like that, but he's gotten the Blade Mail, the Pipe, just build a lot of auras to help keep his team alive. He's got the Tidebringer Shard, which he just grabbed from the Tormentor, and it will be Ags coming out relatively soon. So a lot more damage that he can bring into the fights, I think, in general, which is nice.
I think you're also more likely to actually just hit the ability when there's this disruption save that could come out. Perhaps it ends and the second boat connects, or maybe the first boat misses Pure, the second boat does touch on him, and that could keep him alive. Because like you said, in these longer fights, the Phantom Assassin should be able to kill these heroes, at least in the direct one-on-ones. But if you can focus her down, she'll die. The issue is all these saves, and that's why some of these fights have been very messy, and it really depends on who finds who. If you can get the saves for either team out of the picture, either find crit on Falcons or find this Tinker, find this Ringmaster, then the fight becomes a lot more straightforward.
We're going to see Falcons try and group up here. I mean, I feel like they've got an opening. Crit finished his Aghanim Scepter actually in that last fight. That's why I think they went for that play onto the Phantom Assassin with the Roar. They just didn't have the follow-up damage, so we're going to see them try and make maybe a second attempt here.
Headed bottom, though. No one's here, maybe looking for the Tinker.
I mean, finding Tinker is always nice, but it's just so difficult. Yeah, he just clears the waves, TP's out. Let's just sit behind Amar here.
Have successfully taken some towers from earlier, so it is limiting Tinker's map a bit. the more towers you can keep up, the easier it is to play Tinker. He's down to his last 2.
All right, drums are popped. They're going to find something. GPK would be an amazing target. There's the Dragon Tail, the roar to follow the arrow on the mark down to a sliver of HP. They finish the job. Now Miro on the run, tries to TP out. There's the banishment. Crits found him. 2 huge kills here for Falcons, as now with Miro sideline, we'll see what they can do with this. 50 seconds, neither of these cores available.
BetBoom did not expect Falcons to run up that far. Their positioning was not ready for that at all. The fact that you could do the whole combo onto Huskar and neither the boat nor the escape act could even come into play.
That was a big rotation. This is unfortunately scouted there for Falcons, as they just popped that ult right next to a ward. So BetBoom going to be a little bit careful about their positioning on the map at the moment.
You've got to. I mean, we were complimenting them a lot in the first game about dodging out the fights from Falcons, but as time has gone on, Falcons is mixing things up. They're managing to find the right targets, and it's keeping this game very close. I think I still favor PA the further on we go. PA and Tinker. But there is very much a window where Falcons finds a fight like they have been, and they're in front of your base, and these cores will destroy your building so quickly that you could then end up on the back foot where you've lost several barracks, you're stuck in your base.
Invisibility.
We're pretty much back to dead even here. Falcons still feeling, I feel like they are the ones that can play a little bit more aggressive right now. This Aghanim Scepter on crit is doing a lot of work, but it really just comes down to the initiation and which heroes you find.
Having 2 demonic purges helps a lot. You see why you need 2 demonic purges right there.
God, that hero is something else. But they're keeping a lot of pressure on the lanes here, and you kind of need to, right? Roche is going to be spawning relatively soon. It's a big objective for them.
I think that's happened in a couple of the fights. Funka's boat has not connected in time.
Yeah.
I think it's actually, it goes a long way to keeping his teammates alive, especially the purge removing a lot of the saves from the supports. The boat buff is not purged, as far as I know. I'll double check.
I don't think so. I don't think it's dispellable.
Cannot be dispelled.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to save a very high regen hero like Huskar, right? If he doesn't die, he heals so much. So you have to do a lot of effective damage into him through the resistances, through the damage reduction, or damage delay, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we'll see. Both teams are just kind of biding their time, really. Like, they're outside of those 2 kills top. Falcons just kind of sweeping back and forth between the mid and the off lane to try and keep these lanes pushed in. Amar through the trees here. Not going to find anything, though. As the 34-minute power rune, it's a regen. Not really the best one you'd hope for, but bottle that up here on Quinn's Beastmaster.
And it couldn't matter in one of these fights. You pop it as the disruption comes out, and you're just healing up. When you pop out, you kind of get a little bit more health. Maybe you can turn a fight.
I hope so.
Who even needs a shard at this point? No, they're going through the other side.
I would like, okay, here we go. I was like, I would like one of these teams to start looking for a kill here. Break into the mid lane. Amar actually falling very low for now, but with the slows, OK still has that BKB at the ready. Will be forced to pop it. In comes Huskar as well. They're going to TP. They know they cannot afford to lose this. And here comes the Dragonite. Dragontail is out, but a lot of saves coming through. There's the break-in, though, from Crit. The boat doing a little bit of work, but who's going to be able to stand their ground? The longest getter on the run. GPK dives in very far. Another disruption to buy him some space, but Quinn, he's got to be careful. A big torrent catches, too.
This is right in front of the enemy base as well. They have a creep wave here. You can get a lot of tower damage in, and there's only 1 buyback, and it's on a Dragonite who's not even good without his ultimate. I think that's the gem recovered or stolen as well. I mean, this Shadow Demon has to TP first there because of the extended TP durations. If he goes in first and disrupts, I think it buys enough time for everyone to show up, and then you can take a more cohesive fight with all the teammates together. But that ended up being a bit of a one-on-one as Bristle dies.
This is the scenario where BetBoom are going to take the tower and go tier 4s, and that's exactly what they do. They're going to just try and force Falcon's hand, call the bluff. Do they have buybacks or not? There is a fortification available. But what
be close.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do as just the supports here? BetBoom want to close this game off of one fight. We waited so long, please.
I think you're gonna have time for one more fight here.
Disruption dog the edge, nicely done, but Snake King still not super impactful at the moment. Walks in, tries to pull the attention, leaps away. They get on top of the Bristleback, they fear him away. The throne is dying. BetBoom just want to force this game and make it done, but there's gonna be the break on Zafir, tries to run away, but they just don't have the damage to follow this up. The rest of the heroes, in comes, he gets fouled. He gets pulled in as well. Nice disruption though for Crypt to buy him a moment to get back into the fight. There's the roar. Can they bring down the Phantom Assassin? It's gonna be close. Pure gets the blink strike out, and GPK will be the one to sacrifice himself to the Falcons. Hero trying to TP out. Do they have the I don't even know what cancel. Maybe cancel himself. They want to turn around here on BetBoom instead. They get on top of Crit and they get the kill. BetBoom want to end this game here and now.
Still looking.
A 4v5.
This is so tense.
Dude, I think they're going to go for it. There's no roar. There's no BKBs. Phantom Assassin is absolutely the strongest hero here. And you have this Tinker who can keep resetting. They're just waiting for Kunkka to rejoin them in the mid lane. This would be an absolute insane call if they go for it. They're going to trying to do what damage they can to chip down these heroes on Falcons, opening up this throne. There's still a fortification available now for Falcons. But do they have the damage? They're going to make an attempt here. There's going to be the buyback in for Crit. The roar actually finds GPK. They got the purge. He's dead. Dive backing now on this hero, but can they end this? Miro trying to bring down the throne. Taunts here will catch Snake King. Into a really big torrent. The throne is low, but it's not dead quite yet. Can you knock Falcons out of this event? They're gonna try, but Pure bumps the Satanic. It's doing so much work into the Abyssal. Down goes Flynn once again. There's the fortification. Miro, he's dead. It's a fight till the end, but who's gonna come out ahead? Pure stands it, ends it. Falcons are out 2-0. BetBoom do it.
Holy shit, I can't believe they fought a Deso to end that.